think what we tried to do, and I feel like what's succeeding, is that we've made this space a destination.
That's the voice of Wayne Maki. He's one half of the duo Mutual Adoration that's turned an old post office in Detroit's often maligned East Side into a hotspot for artists, makers, and crafters. I'm Jer Stays, and for today's show, I'm taking you on my visit to Post Detroit at the corner of Marlborough and Kercheval in the city. It's Monday, September 9th, 2019, and this is your Daily Detroit after another Lions not win. Let's get to it right after this. Daily Detroit is brought to you in part by Digital Summit Detroit. It'll be September 25th and 26th at Cobo Center. The lineup includes Seth Godin, NBA Hall of Famer Dennis Rodman, Rand Fishkin, plus 55 more in-depth digital marketing, design, and strategy sessions from YouTube, Ford, Quicken Loans, Cars.com, and many more. Visit DigitalSummitDetroit.com for more information and use promo code DD50 to save $50 on any ticket. The show is also brought to you by members like you. Thanks to Alan, Jennifer, Katie, Seth, David, and others who make this show possible. Learn more at dailydetroit.com/join. Tucked away in the Jefferson-Chalmers neighborhood of Detroit is an old post office that's become a hub of arts, creativity, and commerce. Post Detroit was opened up by
Wayne Maki, W-A-Y-N-E-M-A-K-I, and I'm the co-owner at Mutual Adoration and Post.
Clare Fox, C-L-A-R-E, Fox, like the animal. And ditto.
And I caught up with them at their retail, studio, and production space. So we are sitting in a really great space in Detroit's Far East Side. Can we talk a little bit about what it was before it became this?
Yeah. The building was built in 1940 as a U.S. post office, and that operated until the late 1970s. The post office closed. They opened another one in Grosse Pointe Park and one over in Jefferson, so this one became redundant. It was empty for a while. Most recently, it was a Baptist church about 4 or 5 years ago, and then it was empty until we moved in.
We still have a bunch of beautiful light fixtures from the 40s and a lot of the original character of the building.
So what called to you and said, this space, I'm going to turn an old post office into a combination maker shop, retail? What called to you for this?
We walked in the front door and saw about 70 original light fixtures from the 40s. And I mean, the building we knew right away. As soon as we walked in, this seemed like the place to be.
Yeah, it had enough space. It had more than enough space. Yeah, a lot of square footage, enough room for us to do design and production work, teach classes, have a retail shop. It's nice that it's all one story, so it's accessible. The loading dock on the back side where the mail trucks would pull in and out. We have roll-up garage doors, which allow for us to move heavy machinery and wood and supplies in and out really easily. Much better than our last studio.
So you're in an interesting location, right? You're just a few blocks away from Grosse Pointe Park, which has got lots of residential, lots of retail happening. But you're also a little bit of away from, say, the Jefferson-Chalmers strip on Jefferson. You're a little bit away from Indian Village. If you drive around here, it's not necessarily a full neighborhood yet, but yet you guys have been able to make it go here. How?
That is the question. Yeah, that was the one thing holding us back from this location and our one concern. Will anyone come here? Will anyone find us? Because, yeah, Grosse Pointe Park is close, but there's been, an ongoing sort of division for decades, right? I mean, we all are aware of that. Will people really cross over from Alter and come over here and shop? We're only one block up from Jefferson, but it's a long block. And there's nothing else here on Kercheval. When people hear Kercheval, they usually think of us being down in West Village near Sister Pie and Craftwork and Marrow and all of this, which is happening and amazing, and it's amazingly close, and we love all those businesses, but we have a plant in the middle of us, so you can't just take Kercheval through a straight shot. Yeah, would people come here? We weren't totally sure.
And I think what we tried to do, and I feel like what's succeeding, is that we've made this space a destination. There's a reason to come here. We don't have walk-up traffic. We're not in Midtown, so we don't have people just hanging out, going to get dinner and happening upon us. People have to make the decision to get in their car and drive to us. So we've started doing programming. That was something we started really quickly after opening the store. We started with our first workshop and had no idea how successful that would be. We're now doing 4 to 5 a week, just about every week. And that brings people here. And it's really built a sense of community around the space and around the makers, which has been just beautiful to watch.
So talk to me a little bit about these workshops. What do they look like?
Well, Wayne and I both teach woodworking classes. I also teach printmaking classes. Our fellow studio mates here teach screen printing on paper, screen printing on textiles. Some of our resident artists here teach embroidery and crochet. And then we invite in all of our friends, all of our makers and artists and designers that we admire. If they have skills to share, which they all do, they're generous enough with their time and materials to come in and share that with our customers and with their fans, which has been really cool. So it's everything, every day is a little different. It could be jewelry making. It could be
tea blending.
Herbal tea blending, textile dyeing, textile printing, hand lettering, calligraphy. Yeah, it just runs the gamut. From oftentimes, I think anything that I'm interested in learning, probably other people are too. So we just offer a really vast array of workshops, and every week's a little different.
Another thing that I would say, what is it, a third, something like that, of the space is a retail space. It's very eclectic. There's all kinds of interesting things. And one of the reasons I'm glad to talk to both of you is you're kind of my go-to shop for when I need something special. If I need something where it's like, oh, I actually care about you, then you're getting a gift from Post. And so what's kind of the thought behind that? Because it seems like it's a mix mash of different vendors.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've really curated the shop with all of our favorite things and all of our favorite goods. It's about 85% Michigan makers. So a lot of the people we know personally. As Mutual Adoration, we've been around for 7.5, going on 8 years now. So we've done the circuit. We've done a lot of craft fairs, a lot of art shows, and we've collaborated and worked with so many different people that really starting the shop and opening it up and getting goods in was fairly easy. It was a pretty easy task because we knew a lot of people and we knew what we liked and what we wanted to showcase. Since then, it's expanded a bit. We've brought in some of our favorite things from out of state as well. But yeah, we're about 85% Michigan makers, about 95% women-owned businesses, and everything that's here is handmade, handcrafted, and small batch or one of a kind from independent people.
And so I guess that leads me into my next thing. There is an upcoming event that you guys are putting together, which I'm really excited about. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Last August, we had the idea to put a textile festival together. Neither of us are textile artists, but we both admire textile artists quite a bit.
And we're super fans.
We're big fans, yeah. So last year, we kind of put this very grassroots outdoor festival together. We ended up with maybe 15 vendors outside, and we had a little bit of food and some bands play. This year, we decided to make it bigger and better.
So it and we should say the catalyst for it all was the dye garden. Out on the front corner of the building, we have a garden that's brought to us by Color Wheel. They're a Color Wheel collective. They're natural dyers. So they grow indigo and sunflowers and marigolds and cotton and woad and madder, all of these amazing plants that they can then harvest and process into natural dyes that they use to dye silk and cotton, yarn, and finished product too. So having the dye garden out there has just been beautiful and a really cool thing to experience because, like Wayne said, we're not personally textile artists, nor are we natural dyers, but it's been something really neat for us to learn about and experience. And that sort of end of the season harvest time, well, now's the time to harvest the plants and dye things. So hosting workshops kind of revolving around indigo dyeing was the catalyst for it. This year will be more of that and so much more. Really, we have 45, 50 vendors, a bunch of freebie little make and take workshops happening. We're doing 10 workshops inside, 10 workshops in 2 days. All of those that happen here in the studio require pre-registration and a class fee that'll cover the materials and the instructors. But then we also have a free clothing swap happening with our friend Brittany from the Garment Gallery, where everyone can bring in, clean out your closet, bring in any clothes, shoes, accessories that you want to be rid of, and swap them out for new goods. That'll be really fun too.
Yeah, about 50 vendors outside set up an honest to goodness craft fair on the east side of Detroit. We'll have 5 bands playing on Sunday. We'll have a live DJ set all day Saturday. It's 10 to 5 each day, and it should be a really good time.
Yeah.
And those days are?
Saturday, September 14th and Sunday the 15th.
Here are a couple other things you should know around Detroit today. There will be no road funding deal as part of this year's state budget. Democratic Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer campaigned on a promise to fix the damn roads. Republican lawmakers, who control both chambers up in Lansing, are feeling the pressure from their constituents too. But experts say that the state is staring at a bill exceeding $2 billion each year to bring the roads up to good condition. And the amount of revenue that needs to be raised, or the government cuts that would be needed to actually meet the number, has proven widely unpopular and divisive with the public. So there was a joint statement issued Monday between the governor's office and legislative leaders that road funding talks will be tabled as part of the annual state budget that has to be passed by October 1st. This move to not focus on roads kicks the can down the proverbial road for both parties on funding and allows for the possibility of a budget compromise to keep the government funded in the meantime. However, the longer this drags on, the total cost of fixing the roads properly will only get more expensive. I'm sorry to report that the penguins at the Detroit Zoo are now out of public view until the middle of next year. That's because they've been moved to their old penguinarium while the state-of-the-art $32 million Polk Penguin Conservation Center gets emergency repairs. Apparently, the recently completed structure has about 9 gallons of groundwater leaking into it each day. This is because of a poor job by a waterproofing contractor. See you in 2020, penguins. And that will do it for your Daily Detroit podcast today. I'm Jer Stays. Thanks for coming with me out to the east side, and why don't you bring a friend over to the Daily Detroit podcast and tell them all about it. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you around Detroit.